Hello world, and hello to all the nurse champions out there. I am Nurse Niezl and welcome back to my channel. To those of you who are new here, thank you for joining us and welcome to the team. Another day to learn about OSCE and another day closer to becoming a UK registered nurse. And that being said, let's now start the topic for today. Yes, you've guessed it right. I am actually going to show you how to do the bowel assessment station. Just like the nutritional assessment, bowel assessment is one of the new NMC Osce skill station. This was also introduced last November 2022. But before that, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel so I'll be more enthusiastic to post more OSCE videos. And if you want to get notified, then hit the notification bell and like I said, be part of the team. What is bowel assessment? From the word itself, we're going to assess the bowels of the patient. Bowel assessment sounds like a lot, but this is a silent station in which all you have to do is, that's right, you just gotta write. You will be given a Bristol stool chart, which is right here. You have got 8 minutes to complete the station. So guys, as you can see, this is the Bristol stool chart. Fun fact, this was developed in 1997 by Ken Heaton, MD from the University of Bristol. He did this with the help of 66 volunteers. So what did they do? They changed their diet, swallowed special marker pellet, and kept a diary about their bowel movement. What it is, basically, what's in here in the Bristol stool, it's the weight, it's the shape, and how often they went. As you can see here in the Bristol stool chart, there's a shape, consistency as well. Familiarize yourself with the Bristol stool chart, okay? What's this video is all about? This is all about bowel assessment. I'm gonna need you to understand what bowel assessment is. And then we're gonna head to the marking criteria in which the NMC is going to check. Later on, we're gonna do an example scenario, so we're gonna answer all of that, and hopefully that would help you pass your OSCE exam. Okay, according to Bristol stool chart, this is our type 1. As you can see here, these are hard lumps, but they are all separated. And if you ask your patient, they are hard to pass, okay? They are very hard to pass. Type 2 looks like a sausage, right? So remember, type 2 is a sausage-like, but lumpy. It's like all the hard stool of type 1 together, okay? So the type 1 is separated. Type 2, it's also hard, but it's sausage-shaped this time. And lumpy. Remember those words, sausage type, but lumpy. For the third one, it looks like a type 2, like a sausage as well. But instead of lumpy, it got cracks. Again, it looks like a sausage, but with cracks on the surface. So look at this type 4. It also looks like a sausage, but it's more like a snake. It's smooth and it's soft, okay? It's smooth and it's soft. Here we go with the blobs, which is our type 5. These are soft blobs with clear-cut edges, and if you ask your patient, it can be passed easily. Look at this type 6. This got fluffy pieces with ragged edges. It's a mushy stool. Now for the last type, we got type 7. This is easy. No solid pieces. It's entirely liquid. So it's the easiest one, isn't it? Now that we have familiarized ourselves with the Bristol stool chart, let's head back to the exam. As you start, you will be given a Bristol stool chart, which we already familiarized ourselves with, and you're going to be given a photo, okay? You're going to be given a photo named A, B, C, and D. But remember this, photos A and B is usually formed stool. It's either type 1 or type 2. Whereas C and D, obviously, they're loose stools, okay? Which means they are, yes, you're right, type 6 or type 7. Henceforward, you need to correctly assess the Bristol stool photo and record accordingly to the Bristol stool chart. So you're also going to be given stool charts, okay? The first one is you have to just put the date, the time, and you have to tick which stool, which type of stool, and then your signature. Also, you have to propose a plan for the patient, okay? That's what you're going to do on this station. Let me repeat it again. you have to complete the Bristol Stool chart. You have to do it accurately with the date, the time, and your signature or initial where required. Obviously, you have to write legibly and ensure that strike-through errors retain legibility, okay? As I've mentioned before, bowel assessment is really easy. If you already knew the type of stool and you have charted it into the Bristol Stool chart, then the only thing that's left is the care plan. So let's head to the marking criteria for us to know what are we gonna write in there. Can I just say that the answer to the care plan that you're going to write is the marking criteria? I know, right? So why am I doing this video if I could just tell you to just copy and paste that? No. Because even if the marking criteria is the answer, you have to understand why is this plan suited for this kind of photos, for this kind of assessment, for this type of bowels. Okay, you have to understand. It's not just memorization. It's about understanding the whole process that will be retained here as you go along. When you already have your PIN, when you're already a registered nurse and practicing in the hospital, care homes, and community, it's still going to be there because you understood why are you doing this thing. It's basic and it's important. Alright, marking criteria it is. As you all know, as I've talked about, marking criteria is the Bible for OSCE Exam, okay? Also, it's your responsibility to head to the NMC site, okay, to check if there's any update, because they often do the updates, okay, that they don't sometimes tell anyone about it, but they frequently just change or update any rules, okay, or any marking criteria. So just, it's your responsibility to check on that before you head to your exam. The exam is actually divided into two. There's actually two parts of the exam, okay? There's part A and then part B. Part A is normally about constipation, okay? Part B is normally about diarrhea. Either of which we're gonna know the marking criteria for those. But there's just too many, okay? Taking the context of what I've said before, the care plan for this bowel assessment is the marking criteria. So basically, you have to memorize the marking criteria. But in this video, I will help you get the keywords and we're gonna form a mnemonics for that. I normally use mnemonics every time I memorize things. If I'm about to go to exam, I normally just get the keywords and make my own mnemonics. So I'll share you my mnemonics, okay? But you're free to make your own, okay? Whatever is easy for you to memorize, then you make it, okay? All I'm asking, this is just my take, okay? This is just my take. This is just the mnemonics that I would be doing if I'm going to the exam, okay? Let's go with the part A, yeah? Okay, the marking for this is to achieve full mark. The candidate needs to identify a minimum of 5 aspects of care, okay? For partial marks, which is equivalent to a fail, which we don't want to do that. If you happen to just give like 3 aspects of care, and that's already a partial full marks, okay, and equivalent to a fail, okay? Make sure you give 5 or more, all right? So what are you gonna put in there? Here we go. You have to correctly identify or recognize the Bristol Stool Type 1 or 2 correctly and proposes a plan of care, obviously to prevent or reduce constipation. Oh yeah, just a reminder, every time we discuss each and every marking criteria for the part A, which is the constipation, I'm gonna leave a letter right here for you to take away, okay? When you see that letter, it will remind you of something and it will be your mnemonics now because you don't need to memorize all this, okay? Basically, in this first criteria, the NMC or the marking criteria already tells you the answer. You just need to choose if it's a type 1 or a type 2. So those two are your answer. You just gotta choose which one is the correct one according to the photo, okay? For the second criteria, we have to consider possible causes of this constipation, such as medications. Do you know what medication causes constipation? The biggest culprit is the opioids. Yes, that's correct. Okay, opioids. Opioid causes, or it's the culprit of constipation. That's why if you will notice, you're already working in the hospital, if the patient is on long-term opioids, then it's also prescribed together with a laxative, okay? Always remember that. Your morphine, also your codeine, paracetamol, what else? NSAIDs, such as aspirin, ibuprofen, what else? Antihypertensive tablets, yes, it causes too. The calcium channel blocker and the beta blockers, yeah, they causes constipation as well. What else? Antidepressants, antihistamines, okay, but the most common is the opioids, definitely pain reliefs, okay. Here also, together with this marking criteria, is you have to explore potential alternatives, okay. So my takeaway for this is probably the causes of constipation, okay. The first one is identify the Bristol type. The next one, that's why there's an I in there, and this one is the causes, that's why I put CA in there, so it would remind me, oh, the next one is the causes of constipation, and then in there I would know what it is. Okay, next marking criteria is offers dietary advice. So what advice are we gonna offer our patient? Increase fiber, what else? Fruits and vegetables, definitely. Why do you think we have to offer this one? Why do we have to increase fiber? You better know this, because this fiber sweeps our intestine, okay. Basically, it also promotes peristalsis, so basically the patient will just start. Okay, good. So again, the key word here is dietary advice, okay. So I'll put probably D right there, okay. Proposes obtaining prescription for laxatives. Yes, that's correct. So what are the common laxatives that we found normally in the wards, okay, in the hospital or care home or community? What? Senna, lactulose, what else? Laxido, yes, it's very common. Docosate sodium, okay? So those are the common laxative, that medication that's being catered in the hospital, all right? So what's our takeaway for this one? Laxatives, that's our keyword. So I'll just put lax, maybe. That would remind me, oh, laxatives. So we have to consider dehydration, so we have to encourage the patient to increase fluid intake. If the patient is dehydrated, so we hydrate the patient. What's our takeaway? Increase fluid intake. So what I'll normally just put I means increase fluid intake. That's my mnemonic, so it's up to you if you're gonna use it or not, okay? The next criteria is we have to encourage physical movement wherever is possible, okay? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to encourage the patient to move? Again, if the patient is moving, it will promote peristalsis. So there's a movement as well in your tummy, okay? Oh, so what's our takeaway keyword here? Physical movements. Yes, that's correct. So I'll just probably just put MO. MO means movement. It's easy. Okay, what's our next marking criteria? Yes, encourage the patient not to ignore the urge to defecate. So what's our takeaway here? Takeaway word is defecate. So if you remember that word, again, will remind you that, okay, make sure to encourage the patient not to ignore the urge to defecate. So I'll just put probably D to remind me about it. What's the next marking criteria? We have to promote positive toilet habits. What are these toilet habits? Okay, privacy, obviously positioning, give advice regarding good positioning for the patient to be able to defecate. What else? Breathing exercises. Yes, that really helps, okay? And obviously we have to consider spending time going to the toilet. Okay, so what's our takeaway word in here? Positive toilet habit. So I'll just probably just toilet. You know, the keyword for me is toilet. If I remember toilet, then oh, okay, I have to promote positive toilet habits. So I'll put probably toilet as the keyword. Okay, what's my takeaway letters? TO. Okay, TO. And we've come now to the last marking criteria, which is recognize the need to continue to assess the bowels of the patient. So meaning to reassess or to monitor the bowels of the patient. So what's the takeaway? Assess. If I know the word assess, then I would, okay, I need to assess the bowel movement of the patient continuously or regularly. So what's our takeaway word for this one? Ass. No, it's a perfect word. It's a bowel assessment. But that would make me, that sounds really appropriate, but offensive at the same time. So why not assess? Assess as AS. What do you think? Okay. It's up to you, but for me it's AS. Okay, so our takeaway, again, just the keywords. You don't need to memorize all this. All you have to do is to get the keywords out of this one to this. There you go. Let me say it again. Identify the stool, causes of constipation, dietary advice, laxatives, increased fluid intake, physical movement or movement, defecate, which not ignore the urge to defecate, toilet, promote positive toilet habits, and then assess/monitor. So we have to regularly assess and monitor the patient's bowel movements. So that's it. So again, from this to this. Every time I see those letters right there, I would remind me, okay, I cut, deluxe, I mod to us. I can make a song out of that. I cut, deluxe, I mod to us. I cut, deluxe, to most to us. It's easy for me to memorize. I cut, deluxe, I mod to us. It's easy for me to memorize those things. Okay, let's come now to the sample scenario. Again, let me remind you, this is not the actual scenario that you're going to be having in the OSCE test center. Okay, I just made this one up. I just made it up. Okay, here's the sample scenario. Take a read, or I can read it for you. Here we go. Okay, ready? You are a nurse in a medical ward, okay? Tony Sparkle, one of your patients, seems having trouble opening his bowels. He is irritable and complains to you that he has not passed stool for 5 days. Okay, something's not right. So you assess Tony, escalate your findings, and monitor his bowel movement. After 4 hours, Tony finally told you that he has now opened his bowels. So please identify the Bristol Stool Type and write your plan of care. Again, identify the Bristol Stool Type and write your plan of care. So assume it is today and the time is 12 noon. Alright, here we go. Alright, so these are the chart that's to be given to you. This is the type of stool, and this is where you put your plan. I'm gonna give you time to answer this by just pausing the video. Yeah, so you get enough time to write, and then later on I will reveal you my answers. Okay, you can pause this now. Yeah, you can answer it. This is the time you're gonna remember. I, CAD, D, Lux, I, Mode, to, As. Okay, you can write your care plan now. I'm still waiting. You can. I cut the lux, I mod to us. I cut the lux, I mod to us. Okay, are you ready? So I'm gonna reveal now my answer. Okay, here we go. We have to do this chart first. What are we gonna do? This chart. Okay, we have to put the date, the time, which is 12 noon, and then we have to tick here. Okay, what kind of stool? What type of stool is this? Yes, type 2. Again, it's sausage shaped but lumpy. Okay, so we're gonna tick that thing, and then we have to put our signature or initial. Okay, so what's our plan of care? Like I said before, the answer to the care plan is just the marking criteria, but you don't have to copy paste it directly. Okay, like I said, you have to make it more specific to the patient. Okay, so here's my answer. Enjoy. Okay, again, I'm not saying that this is correct. Okay, I'm not saying that this is the one that you're gonna use in there. I'm just saying that this is my take. If ever I'm gonna go to exam and do a bowel assessment, this would be my answer. Okay, cool. Enjoy. We already identified the type of stool, so the next one is to I will consider possible causes of the constipation, such as medication, and I will explore potential alternatives. I will definitely advise Tony to increase fiber intake, such as fruits and vegetables. I will escalate to the doctor and propose laxatives to be prescribed to the patient. I will definitely check the signs of dehydration, and with that, I will encourage the patient to increase fluid intake. I will encourage Tony to do physical movements wherever is possible. I will then encourage Tony not to ignore the urge every time he wants to defecate. I will definitely promote toilet habits, such as privacy, positioning, breathing exercises, and spending time going to the toilet. I will definitely continue to monitor Tony's bowel patterns regularly. There you go. So that's my answer. Okay, that's just my take. I'm not saying that that's the correct answer, just my take. Okay, see how easy that is. If you know the keywords, you don't need to memorize all those things. All you have to do is to memorize the keywords or know the keywords, and then you can again put it into mnemonics at the same time, like what we did today. Okay, oh yeah, there's another marking criteria. You have to act professionally all throughout this procedure. Okay. Part B of the bowel assessment is the diarrhea scenario. You can head on to the next video after this. So there you have it, guys. I hope you learned something from me today. Good luck on your exam. Again, you can help me by clicking the like button and subscribe to my channel and become part of the team. Also, if you want to get notified every time I post videos, then hit the notification bell. This has been Nurse Niezl. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!